Dynasty Warriors has had a lot of crossovers over the years that mostly relate to certain anime. We've had big names like Gundam, Fist of the North Star, and even Berserk. However, I think that the Musou formula could fit perfectly with a couple other different franchises. So today, I'm going to sit down and talk about my dream Musou crossover games. The one that I've seen posted by the community multiple times, and it's an absolute no-brainer for me, is a Final Fantasy Warriors game. It would be absolutely perfect. I know that they've collaborated with Koei for that one Final Fantasy Souls-like or whatever, but I really want to see a Warriors title sometime down the line. Bring in all the protagonists from each game and villains and stuff, and it'll be a great time. You could even use summons, and imagine having to unlock their ultimate weapons. The stages would also be cool. I'm sure Dissidia fans would be a bit salty about this, but I think it would be a good idea. Just take the main premise of the first Dissidia games and go with that. You have the Warriors of Light and Chaos, or maybe they could follow each game's storyline and have you play through it. It's just too perfect to not be made. It makes me excited every time I just think about it. This one might sound out of left field, but a Resident Evil Musou game. Recently, I've joked about a Silent Hills Warriors game, and it's obviously a little far fetched. Silent Hill takes itself a little too seriously for that, but I honestly see a Resident Evil Warriors game making more sense. You can play as the protagonist throughout the years and mow down hordes of zombies with weapons through the franchise. They've tried making different types of game modes in various games to degrees of success over the years, but I think the one that really got it was Raid mode from Revelations. It's a very good blueprint for it. If you've played it, you know what I'm talking about. You go through stages and you kill hordes of zombies and level up. It feels just right, you know? Imagine being able to play as Hunk and shred through zombies. We've never had a horror kind of Musou game, but I'd like to see it. They've already proven that they can do gore with Attack on Titan and Berserk, so why not give it a shot? One thing I could see as a problem is the gameplay itself. Shooting in Warriors games generally isn't fun, but they'd have to find ways to make the weapons feel distinct. I'd also be down for being able to play as some of the villains like Nemesis or Wesker. That way, it could give a more variety to the movesets and characters in the game. They could even include simple puzzles to give it more of a Resident Evil feel. The next one would probably be pretty hard to make into a Warriors game, but I'd like to see a Devilman Musou game. I think it makes sense to do so, especially after doing Berserk. It's not that far off. I know it's not a recent anime or manga, but it did have a Netflix remake recently, and I think it would work. Literally, there's only two Devilman games in existence, and that's really sad considering how influential the manga is. I could see the game maybe starting off at the Sabbath scene. That could work really well for the intro and getting to play as Devilman beating all the demons. It would be pretty difficult to work around the rest of the story, but I'm sure they could make some stuff up. I would have Akira also be playable as a human, considering after he gains the Devilman power, he's able to fight a lot better. Uh, Ryo is another character that I would also like to see playable with his shotgun, and of course, him turning into Satan later on. I think Silene would also be a good playable character too. The story could cover different iterations of Devilman as well, that way the roster could be filled out a bit more, but I think it would be really cool. The last one I have is a Blame Warriors. I think it would be so easy and make a lot of sense. The whole manga is just Killy mowing down hordes of safeguards. It literally makes itself. Of course, you have all the characters like Sibo and Sanakan and Domochevsky. That would be fun to play as them. And it would also be cool to see enemies being playable as well, like the Silicon Life, and even a playable safeguard would be cool. The story for Blame is fairly incoherent, so it would be a pretty big problem. Maybe you could have a custom character in it like the Fire Emblem Warrior games, and have him be introduced to Killy and Sibo at some point. I think that might be cool if it had the original story or maybe follow the manga with your character. You could really do anything with it, which is precisely why I want a Blame Warriors. That's my list of warrior fantasy games that I love to see. If you have anything that you would like to see as a warrior game or any suggestions for my ideas, let me know down below. Thanks for watching.